Hello lovely beaders. Welcome back to my channel. If you want to make this feather earrings, you will need the knowledge of peyote beading. If you are a beginner, please find a beginner's tutorial about it. My video is not intended for complete beginners. In today's video I will show you how I make a peacock feather earring or pendant. My first attempt was the blue one, but I realized that the peacock feather has more of the green color. So today I will show you the one that is more green. Start with a bezel for a 8mm cabochon. For the bezel, use the fishing line or Fireline. I use fishing line. String 20 pieces of delica. I always double count my beads. Go through the beads again to make a circle with them. String a peyote row with delica beads. When you reach the end of the row, you need to step up. Go through the last bead from the circle and the first bead strung in this row. You have 3 delica rows: the inner one, the middle one, and the outer row. I am stepping out from the outer row, but I need to continue in the inner row. So I am going through some beads to reach the inner row. String a peyote row with the blue seed beads. When you reach the end of the row, you need to step up. Go through the last delica bead and the first seed bead strung in this row. String another peyote row with the blue seed beads. One side of the bezel is finished. Lead your thread to the outer delica row. String a peyote row with the blue seed beads. When you reach the end of the row, you need to step up. Put the cabochon inside the bezel and try to pull the beads around it. It will be fiddly, but the next row will help a lot to keep the cabochon in place. String another peyote row with the blue seed beads. This will be a difficult row, so try to be patient. The cabochon is still moving, but in the end of the row it will be okay. And the bezel is finished. The cabochon stays safely inside. You can cut the tail. Lead your thread to the middle delica row. Pick up 19 pieces of delica beads. I like to double count my beads. Pick up 7 pieces of gold seed beads. Go through the seed beads again to make a bead loop with them. This bead loop will be the loop on top of the feather for the earring hook. Start peyoting with delica beads. This row will be the shaft of the feather. I think this is the name of the support thing in the middle of the feather. For the last delica bead, you need to see the delica where you attach the shaft to the bezel. And with the last delica, go through the next delica from the middle row from the bezel. The base of the feather is finished. Weave in the thread and cut it. You need to do at least 3 turnarounds to be safe to cut the thread. I always speed up this part where I weave in my thread because you don't need to see in what beads I'm going through exactly. I just try to go through a lot of beads and I try to turn at least 3 times. You will certainly pass through other beads and turn around elsewhere, and there is nothing wrong with that. You need to attach the beading thread to the beading. And you need to lead the thread to the bead loop on top of the feather. If I have peyote stitch in my work, I simply weave in the new thread. I am going through beads and turn around sometimes until the thread doesn't want to come out anymore. To check, I pull the thread, and if it still moves, I know that I still have to go through some beads. Starting to feel secure now, but by the time I get to the bead loop, it will be okay to work with it. The thread is on the top of the feather now, but in wrong position to work with it. You need to turn around with it. You can start beading the fringes that will be the barbs of the feather. Every fringe will have different number of beads, but every fringe will have the starting 2 pieces of blue seed beads. The first row of fringe will have 2 blue, 1 teal, 1 green, 1 gold seed bead. Pull down your beads on your thread and go back on them, but skip the gold seed bead. Go through the delica bead from your base too. Go through the delica bead sitting next to the delica where you are coming out now. It is the same row but the other side of the feather. Repeat the fringe unit strung on the other side of the feather. 2 blue, 1 teal, 1 green, 1 gold seed bead. Go through the beads again but skip the gold seed bead. Go through the delica bead too. To reach the second row, you will need to turn around again and lead your thread through the beads to reach the delica in the second row. For the second row of fringe, string 2 blue, 2 teal, 1 green, 1 gold seed bead. Go through the beads again but skip the gold seed bead. Go through the delica bead too. Go through the delica bead from the other side of the feather. I don't like to use beading thread because it always gets tangled. But now I have to use it, otherwise the fringes won't fall nicely. So sometimes you'll see me struggle with the tangled thread. Repeat the fringe unit strung on the other side of the feather. 2 blue, 2 teal, 1 green, 1 gold seed bead. Go through the beads again, skip the gold bead. Go through the delica bead too. Go through the beads to reach the third row. For the third row of fringe, string 2 blue, 2 teal, 2 green, 1 gold seed bead. Attach the fringe the same way like you did with the previous ones. And go and repeat the fringe unit on the other side of the feather too. Go through the beads to reach the fourth row. For the fourth row of fringe, string 2 blue, 3 teal, 2 green, 1 gold seed bead. String the same unit on the other side too. 2 blue, 3 teal, 2 green, 1 gold seed bead. Go through the beads to reach the 5th row. For the 5th row of fringe, string 2 blue, 3 teal, 3 green, 1 gold seed bead. String the same unit on the other side too. 2 blue, 3 teal, 3 green, 1 gold seed bead. Go through the beads to reach the 6th row. For the 6th row of fringe, string 2 blue, 4 teal, 3 green, 1 gold seed bead. String the same unit on the other side too. 2 blue, 4 teal, 3 green, 1 gold seed bead. Go through the beads to reach the 7th row. For the 7th row of fringe, string 2 blue, 4 teal, 4 green, 1 gold seed bead. String the same unit on the other side too. 2 blue, 4 teal, 4 green, 1 gold seed bead. Go through the beads to reach the 8th row. This will be the last row of fringe on the shaft of the feather. For this row of fringe, string 2 blue, 5 teal, 4 green, 1 gold seed bead. String the same unit on the other side too. 2 blue, 5 teal, 4 green, 1 gold seed bead. Go through the beads to reach the 9th row. String 1 piece of blue seed bead and go through the last delica and the delica from the middle row of the bezel. Start to make the short fringes on the side of the bezel. String 1 blue, 1 teal, 1 green and 1 gold seed bead. Skip the gold one and go through the beads in the delica. You will need to lead your thread to the next delica from the middle row. Go through the seed bead that is next to the delica you are exiting. This way your thread will be invisible, it will be between the beads. Go through the delica from the first row and the next delica from the middle row. Now you are in position to make the next fringe. String the same unit for the next fringe. 1 blue, 1 teal, 1 green and 1 gold. Skip the gold bead and go through the beads in the delica. You need to make the same turn like you did previously. Go through the seed bead next to the delica and go through the delica beads to reach the next delica in the middle row. String the same unit for the next fringe. 1 blue, 1 teal, 1 green and 1 gold. Skip the gold bead and go through the beads in the delica. And make the same turn to reach the next delica from the middle row. Make another fringe just like the previous one, and make the turn to reach the next delica. This fringe will be a little different than the previous ones. This is the 5th one on this side. This will be a middle fringe, it will need to stand straight. String the same unit. 1 blue, 1 teal, 1 green and 1 gold. Go through the beads again, but you will need to go through the delica from the other side, not like you did it previously. You need to see this if you make it right. Lead your thread to the next delica from the middle row. Make the next fringe just like the previous one. These 2 fringes are the middle fringes, they are the straight ones. You need to make 4 more fringes just like the first 4 from the other side of the bezel. You will need to make the turns like you did previously, just in reverse. Go through the delica bead and the seed bead next to the delica from the middle row. Then go through the delica in the middle row. String the unit for the fringe, go through the beads again and repeat the turn to reach the next delica. You will need to do this until you reach the delica beads from the shaft. Now that we have some time, I'll take the opportunity to ask you that if you enjoyed this video and find value in the content I share, please consider subscribing to the channel and giving this video a like. My channel and the knowledge I share are completely free, but to keep it going and continue providing valuable content, I need your support. Your engagement helps the channel grow and reach more people, so thank you for being a part of this journey. You can also help by buying me a coffee, or buying a tutorial or a jewelry from me. You can find the links in the description. Thanks for all the help. The last two fringes are a little bit tricky to make. Everything is in the way and you have to pay attention to the tangles on your thread. The fringes are finished, but you need to string one last blue seed bead on the side of the shaft. String one piece of blue seed bead and go through the next delica from the shaft. And the feather is finished. Weave in your thread and you can cut it. Don't forget, you need at least 3 turnarounds to be safe to cut the thread. What do you think? Was it worth all the fuss to make them? Let's put the earring hooks on them. I really like them. Thank you for spending time with me. See you next week.